Are you struggling in fantasy football? Are you 0-2 like my buddy X right here? If so, stay tuned. We got some tips and tricks for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered. Today we are doing week 3 fantasy football. As always, we're going to do our starts and sits for the quarterback position, running back, receiver, tight end, and defense. We don't care about the kickers, even though there are some kickers that are absolutely killing it right now like crazy. I'll do mine, X will do his. Then we're going to go over some fantasy football bets. Well, we're going to be looking at the spread, the total, and the money line. And then we're going to be answering some questions at the end. We were going to call it overreaction, underreaction, but it seems like these days it's just everything's an overreaction. So I think we're going to just stick with those and just touch on a couple topics of some questions we've been getting. Like I said last week, please like and subscribe. Please comment your questions, whether it's on our Instagram, our Facebook, or on the YouTube. I prefer it on the YouTube. That way I will respond back and we'll also feature them on our episodes. So please go ahead and do that. Or if you want, just check us out at www.fantasyfootball.com. We update that weekly. So honestly, let's just straight right into it. Starting a quarterback this week, I'm starting Kyler versus Detroit. Kyler looked absolutely killer last week. Him and Marvin Harrison finally linked up after he made some comments that kind of made me go like that a little bit. Detroit's defense has been looking like crap. I like Hutchinson, but that's kind of all who I really like on their defense. So I'm thinking Kyler and Detroit's going to be a big, big game. So start him. And then I'm actually going to start Deshaun versus New York Giants. So Deshaun Watson has had flashes, nothing too crazy. But I actually saw New York Giant Joe today, and I'm sure he's going to be watching this episode. I told him the New York Giants organization is just one of the most, I mean, they're not as bad as the Carolina Panthers. Let's just call it for what it is. But they're pretty bad. I mean, who pays Daniel Jones $40 million a year? I mean, that's ridiculous. I can get a quarterback at Liberty High School right here to go do that, what he's doing.
I mean, to be fair, the Cleveland Browns paid Deshaun Watson, so.
I mean, he paid his massage therapist, so I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Hey, dude, you know what they say, man? Some hobbies are expensive.
Oh, Jesus. Next, so I'm actually going to sit Dak at Baltimore, or versus Baltimore. They're playing at home, but I just don't know, man. Baltimore's defense is still pretty decent. It's just their offense. I don't know what happened last game against the Raiders. I just don't like it. It feels weird. Dak hasn't really been going crazy. They're just going to double CD, so we'll see what happens. And then you're going to sit Richardson versus Chicago. Chicago's defense has been really surprising this year. Their offense sucks, but their defense has been not too bad. But Richardson has looked terrible against Green Bay.
Richardson just sucks, points dude. There. Like, what are we doing? Are you finally going to believe me here?
1 week overreaction. I don't know. He needs to figure it out because I'm benching Michael Pittman this week, so I can't trust him this week.
Overreaction of how good Richardson is. You're welcome.
But who are you starting this week at quarterback?
So starting, man, I got the boy that's playing like an MVP, good old Baker Mayfield, going against Denver. Denver's absolute garbage. There's nothing Sean Payton can do. There's nothing he can do, dude. This team's trash. It's going to take probably, I'm giving it like 3 to 4 years of a rebuild. This team's just trash. So definitely start Baker, get some points there. And I am sold, brother, on the New Orleans Saints. You're going to start Carr against Philly, dude. Philly. Right now, dude, they're losing momentum. They're realizing that they're not immortal like they were last season, just going undefeated forever, it seemed. And so you're gonna start Carr, man. He's running on a hot streak. Keep with the hot hands until that shows you otherwise. Sitting. Oh, geez. Okay, so sitting. I'm just putting it out there. Whoever I say to sit, you should probably start because apparently they're just gonna pop off. That's what it's been every freaking week. I don't know. You know. NFL coaches just must be watching the show and just getting their game plans from us. I'm not sure, regardless. But you're going to sit Trevor Lawrence against Buffalo. Trevor Lawrence has done nothing. He's not going to do anything. Probably once he gets into a division game, sure, he'll start to do something. But Buffalo, I mean, Josh Allen's making it happen with nobody, so I just don't see Lawrence doing much. And Kirk is an absolute joke. Their whole offense is a joke. Evan Ingram's getting injured before the game even starts, so their whole team's just a joke. And then you're going to sit Kirk Cousins against Kansas City. That Kansas City offense just going to hold the ball. Just going to hold the ball too long. It's not going to be worth it. Cousins isn't going to get a lot of opportunities. With Pacheco out, I think that they're going to try and see what type of a run game they have. So I think they're going to be running a little bit more than people might think, even though Pacheco is out. I think they got to see what they have with running backs because that fracture could end up hindering a little bit when it comes into playoff time. So I think Andrew Reid's going to be smart and kind of see how that running game is if Pacheco needs to be limited for the rest of the season to get him into the playoffs.
That's fair. So some people might see me wincing when they said Derek Carr versus Philly, and I think it's a little personal bias. He's a local boy. We love Derek Carr. I will share my little story because I've told a lot of my coworkers. X was there for that game as well in high school. And also, I don't know, just Derek Carr's track record for me. He might do really well this week. It's really hard for me to trust somebody because we've seen what he did last year and we've seen what he did on the Raiders. And he throws heartbreaking interceptions all the time. For his sake, I hope he does well. But I don't know. For me, I kind of wince whenever I hear that because I'm like, I can't yet. I'm not on board yet.
That's
the story
fine,
in high school.
Fine. We'll get there.
Story in high school. So I only played like a year because I was mostly baseball. That's what I did. Coach Imperatius actually is the one who wanted me to play. So I played. And we played a scrimmage. I don't know if you remember that game. We played a scrimmage against them, and I was a defensive end.
Yeah.
And I never really played defensive end. Usually I was like a tight end or I played like linebacker in Madera. So when I was rushing him and that fool just stiff armed me, boom, into the dirt. Like the first play, I was like, no.
That's your life, dude.
I was like, bro, I can't. After that, I was so like just heartbroken, dude. That was also the end of my career. But, I hold that vendetta for life. But the best part is my dad after the game went up to both David and Derek. It was like, hey, Carr, can I get your autograph? And David was like, oh, sure. My dad's like, oh, no, I was talking about Derek.
Oh, no.
Man. I was like, oh, that's great, dude.
Just destroying the boy's ego.
Destroyed David. David would have had such a better chance nowadays than if he was on the Texans.
100%. 100%.
That's a story for another day. Poor guy.
Hey, dude, you got that clip of the Pro Bowl where David Carr is doing an accuracy challenge against Dak Prescott. David Carr was hitting everything. Dak Prescott was missing every single target, dude. It was amazing.
Yeah, I felt so bad for David with the Texans back then, but
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
They were terrible. But we're gonna just jump into running back. So honestly, from here on out until even if CMC comes back, I think you're starting Mason, and especially this week against the Rams. The Rams defenses look horrendous without Aaron Donald there. Their defense is a joke, and I'm sorry, Bebel, because I know you watch this, even though you're not here, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Rams defense sucks. Their offense sucks without Kupp and Puka. Yeah, sorry, I was like at a lost words for a second. I think Mason pops off. I say he scores 2 touchdowns. That's just my early prediction. You're starting James Cook versus Jacksonville. So you're going to start James Cook. I think even though Josh Allen kind of had a weird week, I think he's going to hand off the ball a lot. Jacksonville looks absolutely terrible. You're going to play a lot of these Bills guys. I even think you can play one of their younger receivers and still do well. Just Jacksonville's looks really awful this year. Yeah. So I'm going to sit Kyron versus San Francisco just because the Niners have a really good run defense. Fred Warner, I know. Fred Warner's going to stuff him up. I think he's going to have a tough game. He's going to be kind of the only guy there. Really to do anything. They have a lot of backup receivers, and I just think they're going to have a rough game. And then I'm actually going to sit Dobbins. That's what I wanted to say. I'm going to sit Dobbins at Pittsburgh. So Dobbins has been looking really good this year in Harbaugh's offense. However, Pittsburgh has mean defensive line. TJ Watt. And Dobbins is injury prone. I think if there's a game for him to get hurt like he does every year, this might be the game. That's also an early prediction. So just be cautious in starting him this week. X, who do you got starting this week?
You're obviously going the boy Kamara, who popped up big points. Had him in both leagues. And even with Kamara, I still managed to lose because, that's just my life. So Kamara against Philly. Kamara's been doing good stuff, just like with Derek Carr. You're running off the hot hand right now. Kamara's having a good season so far, having a pretty good season. So just keep with that. Philly right now is just bumped off the rails. They got no idea who they are, what's happening to them. So just keep running with that. And then I actually like Jerome Ford against the Giants. Ford is a pretty consistent back. He's a big back. And I think what he's going to do is tire out that defense, and that defense is never going to ever get a chance to rest because, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. So I think that defense is just
shot number 2,
out.
New York Giant Jones. Shot number 2.
Dude, just brother, I got a Gatling gun. Get ready. Now we're going into sitting. I think you're going to sit Saquon Barkley against New Orleans. New Orleans is running off a hot hand right now, and you're seeing the theme that I'm running with here. I am 100% sold on the Saints right now that they are actually a team. I think once we hit midseason, we'll start to see if teams figure them out. But as of right now, just run off that hot hand. I would sit Barkley against New Orleans. And then I would sit Josh Jacobs against Tennessee's defense. I know you're going to say, well, Brees Hall did really good against the Titans defense. Well, I just want you to know that the Titans are, as of right now, overall, remains the number one defense in the NFL for week 2. Even after Brees Hall had this amazing game, the Titans are still the number one defense, and they rank second in the league in total first downs allowed. So Titans defense is strong. Don't let the offense throw you off from how good the defense is. So I wouldn't start Jacobs. Tennessee's ranked 18th in sacks, tied at 18th in sacks. So that defense has a lot of pressure. I just don't think it's worth it. I think if you have other options, then that's probably where you should go. If he's one of your best running backs, then sure, put him in.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on the Jacobs one. I think that game's going to be a little more tight than we think.
Yeah.
I still think Green Bay wins it, but, that's just because of the offense. And then with Barkley, though, I am going to take your advice at the top of this episode, and I will be starting him because you know how that goes.
Yeah, hey, dude, I don't blame you.
Hey, this is me.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So starting a receiver, I'm starting Rashee Rice. Oh, sorry, Rashee Rice. Can't help myself sometimes. I'm starting Rashee Rice against Atlanta. Rashee Rice is the clear number one option in Kansas City, and with Hollywood Brown now possibly being out for the end of the year, we don't know if he's going to return for playoffs or not. To me, it's you got to start him. He's the guy. He's getting a lot of points. He's consistent. I think Atlanta, even though they beat the Eagles somehow, some way last week, they're not that good. So start him. And honestly, this one kind of hurts me a little bit because I don't really care for Ayuk, but I'm starting Ayuk at the Rams. I have him in one league, and I have not started him at all. But with Debo, unfortunately, being out for a couple of weeks, he's not going to have to get some work in. So, they have to throw it to somebody. Besides this guy here, you gotta throw it. So I like Ayuk. I'm sitting on. I said Tyreek Hill, but honestly, I'm sitting any Miami receiver this week against Seattle. They're playing in Seattle against the 12th man, but they don't got a quarterback. Tua's hurt. We'll get into Tua a little bit later because I kind of want to touch on that a little bit at the end of the episode. But Tua's hurt. He'll be back, I guess. Not a great idea, but he'll be back. But for right now, I don't trust Tyreek Hill. If you look back at their quarterbacks last 3 years, he didn't really play much last year because Tua was pretty healthy, but he did not really perform very well at all. So I don't really trust him. And his name's Skylar Thompson, right? Yeah, I don't think he really showed me a whole lot of anything. So sit any Miami receiver. And also, as I kind of said earlier, you're going to sit Pittman versus Chicago. Chicago's evens has looked pretty decent. Anthony Richardson has not. It's not Pittman's fault. I will say that off the top. It is not Pittman's fault. Richardson's been overthrowing him and not throwing the ball and putting it in his hands because Pittman is a high volume guy. But, if AR is going to keep being AR, then, all you got to do is sit him and move on and try to find a better option. So, X, who you starting that receiver this week?
Starting, I'm actually taking a shot on this one, but I'm going to start Thielen. The boy Thielen against Las Vegas. I like the change, and majority of the time, whenever you see a quarterback change, one that somebody gets benched, not injured, majority of the time, you get a little high-power offense for at least a game or two, and then NFL starts adjusting and whatnot. But I actually like Thielen. I'm actually really debating. I have him, but I have some other good receivers, but I'm really debating on actually putting him in. But I would suggest for everybody else where you're, kind of mid-tier, I would start him. Las Vegas does have...
What do you think about Deontay Johnson? Sorry to interrupt you, but just on the topic of Thielen, because Andy Dalton is coming in. Andy Dalton is experienced. I don't think Andy Dalton's that bad of a quarterback, to be honest.
No, he's really not.
He's definitely a starter. There's definitely 15 quarterbacks that are trash compared to him that are starters in this league.
Right.
Would you start Deontay Johnson as well? Are you willing to? Because they did bring him in.
I would. I think it would be worth a shot.
Like a flex.
I think same with Thielen. Yeah, I think it would be worth a shot right now. Like I got Puka in both leagues and he's on IR, like, and you're just hurting for somebody and hoping to take a gamble, like, I would 100% in your flex throw in Thielen, throw in Deontay Johnson. I mean, what does it hurt at this time? You
And
know
then
what I
and then
mean?
pray to the
Everybody's
fantasy gods.
dude, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. But majority of the time, history favors the quarterback coming in for the benched quarterback. So I would do it. Las Vegas got a pretty stout defense for the most part, but I think Dalton is experienced enough, and I think that he can handle it and get the ball where it needs to go instead of getting stuck on one read and then just all the little mechanics that come through it. He's already done it. He knows it. Then I would start Godwin versus Denver. I kind of write off the Bucks almost every single year. Once they lost Tom Brady, I was like, they're not going to be much of anything, but they are still a very high-powered offense. Baker Mayfield just got revitalized with, I don't know, juice of the gods. And so he's handling business, brother. I mean, so right now I think Godwin is a pretty good matchup. Mike Evans normally takes a lot of the attention. So I think Godwin is worthy of that. Sitting, this is also a part of an overreaction, which is the old Juan Jennings against the Rams. He's not going to really do much of anything. He's really not. And honestly, even as Niner fans, you can say what you want. He's like barely into a tier 3 receiver. Like, he's barely even there. So I'm not expecting much out of him. Purdy is not really, once again, not impressing as I figured he wouldn't. Now that he's starting to lose his Hall of Fame cast around him, you're starting to realize that he's just
I agree
an
with that.
average quarterback.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So everybody's starting to see that now, which is, nice. And Jennings isn't going to really be much. The Rams defense isn't really the best, I would say, but they're good enough to hold some wannabe receiver. Then I would sit Reed.
Yeah.
I would sit Reed against Tennessee. Malik Willis is trash. Like I said, well, we've been over that, right? Trash actually has a use. He did
better in
nothing.
week 2. Did better in week 2.
I mean, he's like an upgrade. He's like a rich man's Caleb Williams. Like, what are we doing here? He's not good, dude.
We'll get into that later too. Oh,
Caleb Williams right now is a poor man's Caleb Williams. Like, what are we doing? No, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Reed's going to be going up against Snead, one of the best corners right now in the NFL. Even last year, he was one of the best corners in the NFL. So I wouldn't do it. It's just not worth it. You're going against the number 1 defense in the NFL right now, so it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Juwan Jennings was interesting, but for sure, I agree with you on the Reed one, for sure. But getting to tight end, I mean, if you want to go back to the Niners, you're starting the boy Kittle. I'll tell you that right now. Kittle didn't look too shabby last week. Kittle's going to have to step up. Kittle steps up when he needs to. He has, I think this will be a week where, like, he has weird games, right? Where he does, like, nothing, and then he'll do, like, 3 touchdowns. This might be one of those games.
Game, dude. It's over. It's over.
No, I think he didn't have a crazy game. He did the all right game. I think this week he'll have his crazy game. It's just personal, a little biased, but I know you probably think otherwise, but I like Kittle this week. The Rams, like I said, they have the 28th ranked defense this year. They're not good. So I'm definitely starting Kittle, and I'm happy. If I'm not a Kittle owner this year, but if anybody is a Kittle owner this year, I definitely feel very excited about that. I'm starting Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end in football right now. Travis Kelce is looking old. Laporta, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, Laporta was the next best thing, the next best thing since sliced bread, and then now I don't know. He
got figured out.
It happens. Just needs to find a way to give it to him, man. But Bowers looks good. I'm not crazy about Raiders' offense. I know they beat the Ravens, but it was a very close game, very heavily defensive. But Bowers is for sure the number 1 tight end, and you should definitely play him as such. I'm sitting Isaiah Likely at Dallas. Isaiah Likely had an absolute bummer of a game last week. Everyone was overreacting on him, myself included. I mean, we knew Mark Andrews was still there, but at the end of the day, it all depends on Lamar. Just like we feel like with Richardson, is if Lamar's having a good game, his team's having a good game. If Lamar is going to run the ball and not throw it or not have a good game, unfortunately, everyone else kind of falls behind him. And look at the poor Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. another thing we'll talk about at the end of the episode. But yeah, I just, likely fall off the train. Honestly, Alan Lazard, I didn't even mention him, falling off the train. A lot of overreactions there with him. And then Freiermuth versus the Chargers. I will say every week, do not start Freiermuth. I do not trust him. He had one good year, and that was it. I like Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. I don't trust Russell Wilson there. It's just because of age. But until Freiermuth gets a lot of receptions and targets, I just don't trust it. Even if he scores a touchdown, it's like, to me, it's not worth it because it's not consistent enough for me. And the Chargers have a great defense, regardless of what you want to say. Jim Harbaugh knew what he was doing when he went to the Chargers. So that's kind of just where I'm at with that. X, who are you starting this week at tight end?
So starting, I got Gesicki against Washington. I like him. He had a good game last week, and you know how that normally goes with tight ends. They have one good game, and then they fall off for 3 games, and then they have another good game. But I like Gesicki against it. T. Higgins still probably going to be out. So now I feel like, oh man, what's the boy back there? Not Andy Dalton. See?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Freaking.
What are you living in 2007, bro?
Dude, I'm telling you. Freaking Eminem back there. Eminem is finally figuring out that Gesicki is somebody. So I like him against the matchup. Washington still nobody's. Still nobody's. So I would say it's a good chance that should go well. And then I like Kincaid against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's an absolute garbage of a team right now. Kincaid is still, in my opinion, Josh Allen's top target when he does have a pocket to stay in and he doesn't decide to scramble. So I don't know why I just got a weird love for Kincaid right now. Sitting, boy, let's go, boys. Kittle. I had Kittle last season. He does this every single time. He will have one good game and then do garbage for 3 games. Then he'll have a good game and do garbage for another 3 games. We are in this garbage time, brother. We are living in a dumpster right now. He is not going to do well. Kittle does this every time. The Rams, they know what Kittle can do.
I'm going to clip this. I'm going to send it to him. Dude, I'm clipping this.
Do it. Tell it to the boy, dude. Tell it to the boy. I love the boy. But no, it happens every time. Don't buy into it. There's your overreaction right there.
Where's Bobbert when I need him, dude? I need Bobbert in here.
I'm telling you. Then, just like you, likely against Dallas, another overreaction in the tight end department. Dude, it happens every time. Tight ends are the most inconsistent players in the NFL, dude.
Super volatile.
Oh my God. You just gotta, every single time. It's like Las Vegas odds, dude. You're gambling every single time. So, not worth it. Isaiah Likely.
Speaking of gambling, stay tuned for our next segment, though. Don't forget about our next segment. Next, we got defense. I'm starting Cleveland D versus New York Giants. Cleveland D is still, in my opinion, the number 1 defense in fantasy. Unfortunately, their offense is just absolute garbage. Talk about dumpster fires. But New York Giants, shot number 3 at New York Giant Joe. I mean, I told you today I was going to go after him. They're even worse of a dumpster fire. Like I said, not as bad as Carolina, but I mean, pretty close. Might as well be right next to each other. And then I'm actually going to be starting Green Bay D against Tennessee. Another absolute dumpster fire of an offense. Like, oh my God, yes. Tennessee is so bad. Will Levis is so bad, and it hurts me to say that because I have some really nice cards of him. He is so bad. Like, and Green Bay D is not bad at all. So, I mean, yeah, I can't. Yeah, Green Bay D is going to handle Tennessee. I'm sitting Carolina and Las Vegas. Carolina, they're dumpster fire on both sides of the ball. They can't do anything. Jonathan Brooks is still on IR. I think Las Vegas wins this. I don't know. It might be a close game because you know how Raiders always play to their competition. So, and they're still feeling really high on the Ravens game. And I did say, I made a little note and said all season. So you are sitting Carolina. This is the announcement all season. There's no reason, any circumstance, even if they play the New York Giants, you're still sitting Carolina D. They should not be on your team. You should have them off. You shouldn't even look at them. And next, I'm sitting Tennessee D versus Green Bay. I know. He had this whole spiel about about
No.
Malik Willis and how,
No.
Green Bay, yes, I understand Malik Willis is bad. Yes, I understand you guys have a good defense. I'm not saying you guys do. I just think Green Bay still figures out a way to get it done. And Josh Jacobs had 32 carries last week, and he's probably going to get 32 carries again. And they're going to just do 5-yard dump offs. And that's how I think they're going to beat you guys. Like, I don't care what anybody says. That's what's going to happen. They're going to beat you one way or another. Even if it's freaking 10 field goals.
I cannot wait for next week, dude.
I mean, this
I
week.
cannot wait for next week.
Next week is this week.
No, next week we're gonna film the next episode.
Oh.
And then I'm gonna let everybody know. I just
that's fine.
I just want you to know that. I'm gonna probably screenshot it and just put it as my image for the rest of the whole.
We'll just clip it. Who you got starting this week?
Starting, I got Las Vegas against Carolina for sure. Carolina's not gonna do anything. So I think
Andy Dalton could be the man, though. That's risky.
He could. You
did say that.
I did. But hey, Thielen, Deontay Johnson, they can get their points out of receptions. Not that big of a deal. Big of a deal. But I would say that that's a safe bet. That's a safe bet. And then I'm starting Tennessee against Green Bay. 100% you are. Tennessee's defense is too good. They're too good. And honestly, this game, both of these offenses is gonna be like watching two armless people try and play basketball. It's just gonna be embarrassing for everybody. Nobody knows why they paid to go there, but they're there. Okay, so just expect that. I'm sitting Lions against Arizona. I love Dan Campbell. I love the Lions, but no. Arizona right now, I think they're starting to find who they are, and I think that's just a scary. That one's high risk, high reward, in my opinion, and I just don't think it's worth it. I think there's better matchups that you could run with. I would not. I'm sitting Philadelphia's defense against New Orleans. New Orleans is running too hot right now, and you don't want to be the one to think they're not. That is not an overreaction by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I'm not, like I said, I'm not big on New Orleans. I think I'm still, waiting on all that. But at the same time,
that's fine.
You never know. I mean, wait and see, right? So that's what fantasy's all about. It constantly is
changing. Hey, dude, us Kamara owners right now are feeling good. We're feeling hyped.
Trading for CMC while you still can.
Steal. Got him for a steal in the fourth round.
CMC while you still can, while he's still there.
Got him for a steal in the fourth round, boys. Sheesh.
But all right, so the next segment, we're going to kind of go through this very quickly, and then I have a week 3 slate that I'm going to show afterwards, and this is just my picks personally. I'll be posting this on Instagram. X might comment and have different opinions, and that is completely okay. And a lot of these I'm like 50-50 on, so like I will verbally tell you which ones I'm not comfortable with. But first game of the week, we got New England Patriots and the New York Jets. The Jets are favored by 6. I'm taking New York Jets at -6.
Oh, yeah.
I think they cover that spread. So I'm taking the Jets money line, and the total's at 38.5 right now. And honestly, I think that'll go. Give me the under on that.
On the total?
On the total, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that.
You agree with everything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we have the New York Giants versus the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are a -6 spread. Man, I don't know. I don't know on that one.
I'm laughing at the total, dude. I'm laughing at the total.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the under on the total. I think the Browns will win.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to bet the spread, I'm taking +6, dude. I think it might be a 3-point game just because it's, I don't know, man. These offenses are terrible.
Yeah.
I'm taking the +6 on that. But honestly, I would bet the money line. I wouldn't bet anything else. I don't trust it.
No.
Browns for sure win, though, regardless.
Yeah.
Correct? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next game, we got Denver versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is favored by -6.5. So I'm taking that 6.5 all day. Tampa Bay has been on fire, as X said earlier. So I'm taking their money line. And the total, I think it'll be over just because Tampa Bay has such an explosive offense. And actually, Denver hasn't looked terrible. I mean, Bo Nix isn't the greatest, but they'll score. So they do have weapons. Yeah. They do have Javonte Williams, Sutton, the tight end Greg. they have some good, decent young guys. I think they'll score. So I think the over on the total is good there.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Next game we got -1. God. So you're taking Chicago Bears versus the Colts. This is one of those games where I picked the Colts to win, but I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you. I wouldn't touch this with a 20-foot pole, as they say on South Park.
No.
Yeah, the money line is even for the Bears and -120 for the Colts. I mean, if I had to absolutely pick, I'm taking the Colts regardless, just because I don't trust Caleb Williams. As it was mentioned earlier, Caleb Williams looks like a poor man's Caleb Williams.
Yep.
I'm gonna make a comment that might not be too popular, and it's not. I'm not hateful in any way. I'm just kind of making an observation. Maybe if Caleb stopped worrying.
Bad right now.
Oh no, I was gonna say maybe if he stopped painting his nails, and looked more at the playbook, maybe they'd win. But hey, I mean, he's got to learn. He didn't want to take the advice from CJ Stroud, who was really trying to help him out after the game. To me, that shows immaturity.
Yep.
And dude, you are taking a big piece of humble pie because you're not as good as you thought. Welcome to the NFL. So I'm taking the Colts. I guess take the -1 because someone's gonna win, and if someone's gonna win, it's gonna be by -1. But that total, I'm taking the under. Yeah,
100.
Don't even touch that. Ugh. For sure. Oh, so the Titans are favorite. Interesting. So you got Green Bay versus Tennessee. I'm not taking Tennessee, but you can completely disagree. I understand. I'm taking the Packers at +3 on this. And I'm taking the under on the total as well, just because, I mean, it's it's two good defenses and two not so good offenses right now.
Yeah.
X might take the -3 on the Titans, and that's cool. I just think that the Packers offense is just a little bit better than the Titans offense right now. But I think it's going to be a field goal matchup. So, you got any kickers on these teams? Use them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take Tennessee for sure. Yeah, I'll take the -3. The total, I don't know why part of me wants to say it's got to be over, but yeah, I'll probably stick with the under.
Yeah, I just don't trust it. I think it's weird, right? It's a weird one.
You know what? I'm just gonna say the over. I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say it's gonna be over.
Cool.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be over.
Next game. Oh wow! So we got the Eagles versus the Saints. The Saints are favored -2.5.
Bro, that under for sure.
For sure, yeah. So
no
for me,
way.
I'm gonna show you my chart after we do all this. I'm taking Philly. Yeah. I think Philly has a reawakening because they are better on paper. It's just they got to figure it out. I think they'll figure it out. But that's me thinking that Derek Carr is going to regress back to his OG form. So and they don't give up. Slay and them don't give up big plays over the top to Rashid Shaheed. I mean, that's really what it's going to come down to. So and they put a spy on Kamara. But I'm taking Eagles at +2.5. I'm taking Eagles money line, but that total is definitely going to be under. Like 50 points is super high. I understand they're both big explosive offenses, but Saints have a half decent defense. Eagles have a half decent defense. They still have some good corners. I don't think it'll be as big as it was. Mind you, the Saints played the Panthers, so the Panthers are not very good. And they played the Cowboys, which is a little surprising, but Cowboys D has been known to give up big plays, and I think I had mentioned this on the show before, so it wasn't overly surprising. And Micah, I think, is the only player on defense that really looks like he wants to play. So, I'm assuming you're taking -2.5 on the Saints.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I'm taking Eagles.
Obviously, the under.
Yeah. So next, we got the Chargers versus the Steelers. So the Steelers are favored by 1, which I also think is interesting because I'm taking the Chargers at +1. I mean, I like the Steelers, but I mean, still their offense isn't crazy explosive. Justin Fields isn't putting a lot of fantasy points and a lot of yards.
Their defense is really good, though.
Oh, their defense is solid. Don't get me wrong. But the Chargers also have a solid defense. They got Khalil Mack. They got Joey Bosa. And Jim Harbaugh is legit, dude. What's the memes like? Legitness. Jim Harbaugh is legit. And I think he always will find a way to win. And to me, I mean, -1, it is basically a toss-up. But I'm taking the Chargers at +1 and +105. The total, though, I mean, that's probably the lowest total so far. I'm still taking the under on that. It's going to be a good game.
I would probably take the over, and I'm okay with Pittsburgh at -1. I'm okay with that.
The Steelers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Next game, we got Houston -2.5 favorite versus the Vikings. I think definitely Houston can win by 3. I know it's hard to go into Minnesota and win. I mean, the Niners are like 0-8 the last since like 2020 or no 2001 maybe. I forget 2007. They showed some stat. But the Texans have a very good team. That total though, man, I don't know. I was like,
I would say
that's
under.
high.
I would say
Man,
under.
yeah, I might have to go under because CJ hasn't been balling out like crazy. He's done well, but it hasn't been too crazy this year so far. So
He's
I would
good
take the
enough.
under on that.
Mean,
But I'm taking Houston at -2.5 for sure. I think Houston wins this matchup.
Yep, me as well.
This one, the easiest pick you're going to make in your life. You got Carolina Panthers versus Las Vegas Raiders at -5.5, and they're playing in Las Vegas.
They got them at 40?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yes, Raiders did really well last week. But I'm taking the under on the total just because you can't trust Carolina and the Panthers. I mean, Andy Dalton could very well show out, and we've mentioned that multiple times.
Yep.
I would stay away from the total in general, but I do think the Raiders will beat them by 5.5, and the Raiders will win.
Yeah.
So, next, we got Miami versus Seattle at -4. So, I'm taking Seattle at -4. Miami does not have a quarterback right now. Tua is hurt.
Yep.
He should retire, but that's a conversation for a little bit later. Seattle, you're playing against the 12th man. It's going to be hard with a backup quarterback to go in there and do anything. The total's at 41.5. I feel like that's high with the backup quarterback for Miami. And Seattle doesn't usually score 30 points a game, so I would probably take the under on that. But Seattle's definitely going to win, -210.
Yep, I agree with it all, 100%.
Cool. Next game, we got Niners -7 versus the Rams. So yeah, I'm taking -7 versus the Rams. Unfortunately, Puka's hurt. Rams defense is 28th ranked at a 32 in the NFL. The money line for the Niners and the total actually at 43.5. I'm gonna take the over on that. I still think they figure out a way to score. Yeah, I take the over on that.
No.
Yes, sir.
I'm okay with the Niners at the -7, but the total, no. Definitely under.
I think the Niners should score 35. That's why I'm saying over.
No. I'm mark my words. 2 touchdowns, rest field goals. Moody's gonna have a good game.
All right. Moody owners, you hear that? The Oracle has spoken. Next game. We got Detroit Lions -3 versus Arizona Cardinals. Let me double check to make sure who I picked. Okay. So I have Detroit at -3. I mean, Arizona has looked good, but Arizona is definitely beatable. I mean, they did lose to the Bills. It was a good game, but the Lions are going to figure it out. The total at 52.5. Ooh, that's high.
No way. No way.
Oh, man, I don't know.
No way. No way.
I'm a toss-up, to be honest with you, just because there's two explosive offenses. It just depends on how good Detroit's defense can do against the Cardinals. For now, it's under.
Under, and I'll take Detroit at the -3.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Next, we got Baltimore versus Dallas Cowboys. So this is one of the games where I keep kind of going back and forth. Yes, Dallas lost at home last week, which was weird. But the Ravens are 0-2. They look like crap. They just lost to the Raiders. It really is just going to depend on what on what Lamar we get, because the Ravens defense is always great. But I'm personally going to take Dallas at +1.5. I think they're going to come back. Dak just got paid. CD got paid. This is week 3. He's going to start getting into his groove. They're at home, big game, and they usually show out. So it's really hard to beat Dallas in Dallas, and I think this week they're going to show why. But the total at 48.5, I'm taking the under on that. I think that's a little high. 2 good defenses.
Really?
Well, I think so.
Okay. I'll take the Dallas at the +1.5, but I'm going to go over. I'm going to say over.
Cool. All right, we got 3 more games. We got Sunday Night Football. We got Kansas City -3.5 versus the Falcons. I think that's easy money if you want to bet that spread. I think they win by way more than 3.5 points. So I'm taking the Chiefs money line, and the total is at 46.5. Man, I don't know. I might have to take the under on that.
I'll take the under.
Yeah.
I'll take the under on that.
Oh, another money easy game. It's Monday night, the first Monday night game. Weird. We got, let me go like that. Okay. First Monday night game. We got Jacksonville versus Buffalo. Buffalo's favorite -5. I'm taking the -5 on Buffalo.
Yep.
And then we got, so I'm taking the Bills money line.
Under.
Total is 45.5. I'm taking the under. I think
Yep.
Jacksonville is absolute garbage, and Christian Kirk owner, I'm absolutely mortified every single time I
Yeah.
look at his stat line. So,
Yep.
last game, why? We have the Commanders versus the Bengals. Bengals are favored by -7.5. So week 1 for the Bengals looked pretty rough. Week 2, I mean, their offense wasn't too crazy, but it was a good game against the Chiefs. But the Commanders are really bad. Jaden is having a hard time to score, so I'm taking Bengals at -7.5. I'm taking Bengals on the money line, but the 48.5, I'm taking the under on that. I think that's a little too high.
Under for sure. Yep.
But very quickly, I have one more thing to share, and it's going to be a picture. And this is just so people. So I'm going to post this on our Instagram and put it on our website. These are my picks personally. I did these the other night, and usually I try to do these every week. And like I said, some of the games I would like to avoid. If I were you guys, I'd probably try to stay away from the Chicago Indy game. Man, I think there's a couple of games where I'm like, I'm not sure. Green Bay Titans can be a weird one.
I would stay away from it. You don't know what you're going to get.
Dallas Baltimore might be a weird one. Yeah, I mean, these are a lot of games where there's toss-ups. I mean, I think for sure, like, you easy, like, money line, go Jets, Browns, Houston. You can go Tampa. Yeah. You can go Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, Niners, and Seahawks and Raiders. Other than that, everything else is pretty. It's going to be a close one. You know, it's going to be pretty close. Yeah. So there's definitely some better games this week. And just remember, all the favorites do not win every week. So, you know, I know I did pick some non-favorites, but that's the way it works. Unless it's college football. And the odds are -6,000. It's like Alabama versus Fresno State. So, but that's that. That'll be posted on our website, so you can check that out. Reminder, that's www.fantasyfootball.com, or just go to our Instagram and it'll be there as well, and our Facebook as well. Last but definitely not least, we kind of want to talk about some questions, and we do want to talk about the overreactions because those seem pretty fun. I'm always getting hit up, and it's from my buddy Griff. Griff, please just ask it on the YouTube channel. You don't need to text me 3 times a day. He's like, who do I pick up? And he has a hurt team. And it's like, well, every league's different. If it's a 10, a 12, a 14 man, I think you got to look at targets. And I'm going to keep hammering this. I did this last week. Look at their targets and look at their receptions. If they have 3 receptions and they had 8 targets, I like that better if it's consistent every week, as opposed to someone who went 3 for 3 and scored 2 touchdowns, because the odds of them doing that again is probably going to be rare, as we saw with Worthy last week. It didn't really happen. So just be a reminder of that. I know running backs are scarce and it's hard. If you see a committee, try to stay away from a committee. I mean, I grabbed Carson Steele as like maybe it happens, but Samaje's there. You don't know who's a starter. They have Kareem Hunt on the practice squad. I would stay away with it unless you have an extra space to kind of just stash someone. Receivers, always look at your matchups. I mean, really, any player, look at your matchup. And if the matchup's good, you start them. Even if their points are saying lower, the points are not always correct. You always want to start with whoever has the best matchup. Yep. And obviously, if you have big names, it's hard to sit them. You got to play them and you just hope that they figure it out. Because if you put, like, and I have a 14-man league, I grab Barkley in the first round, I got to play him. And you just got to hope that
your top four, you're never sitting.
You're
never sitting
to start them.
You have
unless
to play.
It's Ayuk, because I grabbed Ayuk for sure in the first 4 rounds, and I sat him. But that was the only. I had better options.
My philosophy is, if you are sitting your top 4, then you overvalued the player. 100%, you overvalued the player. And nonetheless, too, for your buddy Griff, if your whole team's injured, then this is the best time for you to pick your high risk, high reward players. 100%. Just shoot it in the dark, because you're going to lose anyways. You already have it in your mind. My whole team's freaking injured. So then high risk, high reward, dude. Just pick somebody that has had one good game that's showing out kind of good, may or may not be good. Pick them. Why not? You're already going to lose. So what does it matter? You either got a shot for this dude going to hit big or not. Which,
grab your
if they
Thielens,
don't,
grab your Johnsons.
Yes,
grab the guys
100%.
that are. Don't touch the Likeleys, don't touch the Lazards, but touch the guys that, just that have had like, a quarterback change, or a team where it's like, hey, they have a really good matchup. JSN went off. Is JSN going to go off again? Probably not. But I mean, they are playing at home.
Point.
Yeah, I mean, if he's available, start him.
Yeah. Pick up
I
your
grabbed
big
Jawan
name,
Jennings in
washed
my
up
14-man
players.
league, and I'm starting him over Christian Kirk. I mean, I had to do it. It is what it
Yeah,
is. I
pick
mean,
up your big name, washed up players. 100%, like D-Hop. If he's still
nah,
there,
I'm not
he's
starting
a
D-Hop.
big
How
name
dare
and he's
you?
washed up. Dude, if your whole team's injured, yeah, you're starting.
I don't know about
100%.
D-Hop.
You have nothing to
D-Hop,
lose. You have
D-Hop
nothing
hurts
to
my
lose.
soul.
Nothing to lose.
That's, yeah, I don't know. But, and then very quickly, before we go on our overreactions, I just kind of want to touch on some things. Debo's hurt. Puka's hurt. Cooper's hurt. Cooper's not going to IR, so that's great news. Tua got knocked the hell out. Either him or Hamlin was going to get hurt. Tua's the one that got hurt. But you got to learn how to slide with your feet first. He's going on IR, but he's going to be back. And once I heard that, I was like, I do not like that at all. As far as like player health, safety, and it's not that, I love Tua as a quarterback and he's great, fun to watch, especially with him and Tyreek and him and Jalen Waddle. But, I don't know when you start having that question of when is your health the more priority at the end of the day? Like, yeah. I mean, not that my opinion matters, but I would think you want to be healthy for your family and not for football.
Right. There are a lot of players. Yeah, there are a lot of players that are saying the same thing. Like just with, some of the players where they end up having such mental issues and head issues from the game that, you have, I think it was Junior Seau where he just offed himself. Like, it messes with you so bad that you end up doing those things.
Very prominent players that retired. Steve Young, Troy Aikman.
Yep.
I mean, those are just to name a few. Some of the guys that had. I mean, even Andrew Luck, I think, even said that he didn't want to mess with that too.
Andrew Luck left early. You had Megatron who left early. I mean, pretty much any player that was good on the Lions just assumed that they retired early. Yeah, they retired early because they were one, either just tired of losing, or two, the injuries just weren't worth it. And Megatron even said it. He was like, "Look, I got tired of losing." But at the same time, too, you're not going to put your body through all that trauma for no reason. There's no point. There's no point.
Right.
And it's just like even in your life, like even just the average day Joe, I say it all the time, dude. Take time off. There's nothing wrong with that. Take time with your family. Take time for yourself. Like this job, you're just a number, bro. Even in the NFL, you are just a number. It doesn't matter, bro. Take time for yourself. Get yourself right. Don't get burnt out. Don't give your heart and soul into this job that does not care for you. Okay, your family cares for you. The people, your best friends care for you. Loved ones care for you. Get yourself right. Don't care about these. Obviously, care about a job. Be responsible with it. But if you're really having a hard time, man, take some time off. There's nothing wrong with that. And for Tua, he needs to just retire, dude. He's good. He's set for life. If you're like some of these NFL players, if you're screwing out $5 million, I could retire for the rest of my life right now off $5 million. Easy. No question. So these NFL players, they have the opportunity where the average day Joe like us, probably not, but don't be afraid to take that Friday off, dude. Take that Friday off. Extend your weekend, man. Get yourself right. There's nothing wrong with that.
And that was brought to you by A Moment of Zen with X.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to call it. Hey,
dude, you have no idea. I just saved like 5 marriages right there.
No, I agree, dude. Like, I'll take time if I need it. If I'm sick, I don't want to go in and get everyone else sick. Like, I mean, I completely agree. And when it comes, I think too, like, if we're going to get like related back to football, like with CT and injuries and stuff, like, I think some of the big names have understood the importance of it. And, at the end of the day, some people don't want to be, a vegetable and kind of just, or even, there's a lot of mental health issues that are, that also are play a role in that as well. But on a little bit of a lighter note, let's go into overreactions. We are going to overreactions.
Love them.
So, I mean, I'll just let you go ahead and start firing them off because I have a couple, but you might touch on them, and I know you have a lot of like high energy right now. So let's just start firing off. Fire them off.
Overreactions. Simple, dude. I mean, we already sort of touched on it. Mark Andrews is still the guy. Okay, that's not really like the overreaction of Isaiah Likely. Dude, Mark Andrews is still the guy. There, that showed it. Okay. Another overreaction is saying that the Saints aren't good. The Saints are good. The Saints are good, bro. The Saints are good. They're popping off everywhere. Just handling it, dude. The Saints are for real. Okay? Another overreaction, and I'm going to be the first one to say it. Okay? Will Levis is bad. That's an overreaction. Overreaction. Will Levis is still good. You see that every single game he's progressing better. He makes one boneheaded mistake that you remember, but he's still getting better and he will be good. Watch. Another overreaction is saying that Anthony Richardson, okay, I don't know how many times I need to say this. An overreaction is saying that Anthony Richardson is good. He's not good. He's terrible. He's terrible. Will you people just believe me already? Another overreaction saying that Green Bay is going to beat Tennessee. It's not going to happen, dude. Malik Willis is worthless. Malik Willis is worthless. Worthless. You want to know what the best thing that any quarterback needing team right now should do? Pick up Ryan Tannehill. 100%. Should pick up
I
Ryan
was
Tannehill.
actually going to
You
touch
want to
on
know
that.
what should happen? You want to know what should happen? I'm going to give you
Miami.
guys a brief picture. No. But yes, but no. You're halfway right. You want to know who Miami should pick up?
Who?
Right? You ready for this dream team?
Trey Lance?
The GOAT, brother. Tom mother Brady.
I don't think he
Tom
can.
Brady. Brother, just imagine it. Just
I don't
imagine
think he
it.
can.
My
He's
God.
under contract with Fox.
Brother, who cares, dude? Terminate that contract. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Dude, imagine Tom Brady in there. Imagine Tom Brady with Tyreek Hill, Waddle,
Jalen Waddle,
Shane, that backfield.
Mostert, yeah. I don't.
Boy, it gets you pumped up. It gets you
I
fired.
don't know. I don't know
That's
if
what
that's
you want to see.
I think
Brother,
he got
this
so
is
much
why
plastic.
we watch football.
But he got so much plastic surgery. I think he's done. I think he like fixed everything and took his year off. Yeah, I think he's done.
You know what, dude?
I appreciate the energy,
feeling that one.
but
I'm feeling
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
I'm
for
feeling
me,
that
I
one.
think it's not an overreaction that the Miami's going to be bad without a quarterback. I think a more realistic option for Miami is either trading for Trey Lance, just because there's talent there. I don't know how good he is,
Oh.
but he is not going to be the guy in Dallas with Dak getting paid. So, at that point, he's expendable. I like Ryan Tannehill. He's already been there before. He's a veteran who can get you to at least the playoffs, and that also gives Tua a lot of time to heal. And I think that's kind of where my mindset's at. Honestly, dude, I've been saying it every year, even before I started doing this podcast. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude. I don't care what anybody says, dude. That's my guy. He'll throw you 5 touchdowns, and he'll throw you 5 interceptions, but at least he's throwing you the touchdowns.
The Fitz magic.
Dude, give me the beard, bro. Give me the beard. That's my guy. That's like my fantasy dream. I'd pick him up every year, dude. I don't care.
Gosh.
Or look at Jameis Winston, dude. I mean, Jameis Winston, for as bad as he is, he still can throw you 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's kind of the same player. Where's he at right now? Chicago? No, he's on the Browns. He's on the Browns.
Is he?
I like him over Deshaun all day. Deshaun's trash. But, I mean, I think every week you're going to get some kind of overreaction. Like, are the Niners not going to go to the Super Bowl this year? I think we're going to be okay. I think it'll be tougher. But I think once we get CMC back, I think we'll be fine. I think it's an overreaction to say the Niners are bad. It's not an overreaction to say that Brock Purdy's not that good or Ayuk's not that good. I mean, I've been saying that just, between family and friends. I don't have a Brock Purdy jersey. I don't think he's worth a fat contract. He's a 5-and-out kind of guy. Nothing too crazy. And Ayuk's a prima donna. So, I don't roll like that. I'd rather keep Debo.
You already paid him.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, if there was anything, I would love to trade Ayuk for Devontae, and we give up like a 1st-round pick. I would love that.
Dude, you want to know what it is? Trade Ayuk for Scary Terry out of Washington. For Terry McLaurin. Yeah.
I like Terry, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yes, he would shine, brother. He would shine.
No, I don't know.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
But, every week we will have some overreactions. And honestly, if you want to have a little bit of fun with it, go ahead and comment some of your overreactions, some of your underreactions. And, that's kind of what the goal of this is to kind of like grow an audience and shoot the shit and kind of have some fun with it. I mean, I already got friends texting me all the time. I'm sure you get friends all the time texting you about who's starting to sit and just talking to shit. I mean, I think Tennessee is a terrible team. I wouldn't say as bad as Carolina, but I mean, they're so disappointing every year.
Right. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's with Levis so I can sell my cards. And we'll say that every week as well. But yeah, next week we'll do the same thing. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to be doing it every week, hopefully. God forbid any kind of family emergencies or stuff that we have going on. But we film on Wednesdays. We film Wednesday night. We bring it up Thursday morning at 7 a.m. That's the schedule I'm going to keep it to. So every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. before the game start, you'll have your starts, your sits. You're going to have what we think for as far as betting for those who live in the states that can bet. That's the way to put it, because in California we are not free. And we'll always do our overreaction, and honestly, we'll respond to your comments. I think it's a lot of fun. As I said at the top of the episode, check out our website www.fantasyfootball.com. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook. We do have TikTok. Peace out, everyone.
YBA.